Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of Gotta Read 'em All, a Pokemon podcast. What's up, my fellow trainers? I'm here with my fellow trainer, Jen Graves. I'm
What's up, guys?
Otaku Mike. What?
I said, what's up, guys?
Oh, I'm Otaku Mike, and we are going through the entire Pokemon manga. And today we are looking at Chapter 3, Secret. Wait, wrong one. Never mind. Yeah, no, we're on the Secret of Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan. I kind of had a brain fart, and I was like, wait, didn't we just do Secret of
Yeah.
Kangaskhan?
Goodness.
But yeah, where did we leave off last time with our trainer Red and his adventure, Jen?
We left off with him getting Bulbasaur
Yeah.
and getting his Pokédex from Professor Oak
Mm-hmm.
and going off to Journey then and finding out that he doesn't have a lot of Pokeballs.
Yeah.
So.
And he's going off to the Viridian Forest because Professor Oak sends him there for reasons that we don't know, but we will find out in this episode. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll find out in this episode. We might not find out in this episode.
We kind of do a little bit, you know.
So let me throw my speculation out before we actually get into it real quick.
Okay.
So I think the reason why he actually sent Red here was in anticipation for him to meet Blue.
You think so?
I think so.
But he's technically already met Blue.
But Professor Oak doesn't know that.
True. That is true.
So I think that's why he's trying to get him to go, is for them to actually meet, and because he knows that from this that there will most likely be like a rivalry come out of it.
I feel like you just spoiled the entire chapter.
Well, I mean, we'll cover it, and then we'll figure out if the rivalry comes out of it at the end or not.
Yeah. So our first panel, we see Red, Bulbasaur, and Poliwhirl walking, and he's like, all right, let's get going. You know, we're going off to our adventure, you know. And we see Blue standing.
Which I love his confidence level, because, you know, right here, he's talking about all the Pokemon we're going to meet, and he goes, just with Poliwhirl and Bulbasaur, we're bound to catch them all. And I'm like, that's really fucking confident, okay?
Yeah, he's doing this like little strut in the panel. Like he's like swinging his arms, he's all boisterous, you know. He's like, I got this, doing his Vince McMahon power walk, you know.
Right.
If anybody gets that reference, please get that reference, anybody.
Please. I need to know that other people out there know what I'm talking about.
And so we see Blue in the Viridian Forest standing around with Charmander, and you hear this like crinkle or crackle in the brush. And he's like, huh? He's like, Charmander, go! And we see this cool scene with Charmander. He looks like he's using like Ember or something, an Ember attack.
I assume that's what that is, but I'm not 100% sure, because it looks like he threw like a rock.
I think he threw Ember, like he threw like a fireball from his tail.
Okay.
That's what it looked like to me. If they don't say the attacks in this yet, you know, they say the kind of the attacks afterwards with like Solar Beam, you know, but like
and that's another thing.
Red said Water Gun in the first chapter. He told Poliwhirl to use Water Gun.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I do kind of like about the manga that's different from the other stuff as well. Is the fact of how you do get little scenes like this where they actually need something to start that attack.
Yeah.
You know, so we haven't exactly seen it, but he might have picked up like a piece of wood or whatever and caught it on fire before he used it.
Possibly, yeah, you know.
So,
but we see that a Venomoth was hiding in the bush, and Blue is like, I've already caught that one. And I like this scene that with this, he's like, I've already caught a Venomoth, you know.
No, you're just making me think of a Venomoth in the bush. You got to go with your Australian accent. Aye,
aye, aye. You got a Venomoth in the. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do an Australian accent. Oi, oi.
Hey, mate,
Aye.
we found a Venomoth out in the bush.
We found a Venomoth out in there, bushes right there. But I like this when he pulls up his Pokédex and we get essentially the artwork from the video game.
Yeah,
in this, which I really like, and we get a little synopsis like height, weight, what types of Pokemon it is, how tall it is, how much it weighs, what moves it knows, and a little description about like what exactly or where Venomoth are and stuff like that.
I wonder if that's actually the description for it from one of the video games.
Oh, we gotta see, because I think this was made right after the video game came out, so we'll have to check. We'll research it. Yeah, and we see Blue standing there with Charmander, and he's like, well, you come out, and I guess he's talking about Red here because I guess he can hear Red, like in the forests, kind of, and they're kind of seem like to be like near each other, and Red's kind of like, where the fuck did that Caterpie go?
Because I wonder if it's him talking about that or the Kangaskhan.
Maybe. I thought he was talking about Red.
That's what I thought so too, but just looking at how the panel's laid out.
Oh wait, now that you think about it, now that you say that, he's probably talking about Kangaskhan.
And I wonder if Professor Oak sent him too.
Sent him to the Viridian forest?
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly, You never know. And we see Red going through and with Poliwhirl, and he's like, what the heck? Where's that stupid Caterpie?
Which, this is another thing that I have to question right here, is the Poliwhirl runs through the bush and everything.
Uh-huh.
And basically Charmander takes him out.
Well, I mean, like, Red tells Poliwhirl to go, go, because they hear a rumbling and and next panel we see Poliwhirl has a dizziness to him, and he's like knocked out, and he has X's over his eyes. He's like,
so this is another thing that I actually like about the manga versus like the TV show and everything.
Yeah,
is like you could be a Dragonite. You could be a Dragonite or a Charizard or something.
Uh-huh.
And virtually like a Poliwag could beat you.
Yeah.
So that's just something that I feel like I enjoy. And it's not exactly like based off the video games, but I like how they don't exactly care what's going on. Yeah, what type you are or anything else. Like, you could win no matter what.
Yeah. That's pretty cool,
So,
and yeah. So you want to get into this next scene? What happened to Poliwhirl, to be exact?
Oh yeah, he runs out and Red sees the Charmander standing there, and he starts talking to Blue. And Blue tells him that he thought that the Poliwhirl was a wild Pokemon, and that he shouldn't take it personally. Red shouldn't take it personally that he just attacked instead of thinking first.
Yeah, because I think he said he was going to try to catch the Pokemon, the Poliwhirl.
Yeah, which we do get this whole part now where we have Red kind of his I don't want to say like thug, but his like
his rage comes out.
Yeah, that part comes out because whenever his Pokemon goes down, instead of like how most people handle it, I feel like in the future of throwing their own Pokemon out.
Yeah.
And swapping them out to defend like a dropped Pokemon, he actually goes into it with a fist fight in mind.
Yeah, he tries to fight Red here, and he gets this big like wonk like sound effect, and And Red's like, ridiculous, and he catches his fist in the air, and and he's like, we're both here in the forest to catch Pokemon. We're bound to cross paths sometimes, aren't we? And you see this panel right here that we get with Red and Blue. They're kind of close to each other, holding each other's hands. I thought they were gonna make out. I thought they were gonna make out. Maybe
the thing that this makes me think of is the TikTok that's like, "There's two friends, and they might make out. They might kiss."
Well, it kind of reminds me of the whole Naruto Sasuke thing in that first episode of Naruto.
That's true.
Where they like accidentally kiss each other.
Yeah,
I thought it was like they just. I feel like there might be a little bit of sexual tension between Red and Blue.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Don't ruin my dreams.
All the Fujoshi fans are like, ah, or Yaoi fans. Ah.
Yeah. Be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait.
But Red finally,
and that's how Pokemon became a BL manga. Okay.
Yeah. But Red realizes that Blue is the guy from when he encountered the Mew for the first time.
From Adventure 1.
From Adventure 1, Chapter 1. And you hear this like boom, 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 boom. And Red's like kind of like, oh my god, like what's happening? What's coming, And Blue's like, yeah, like I've been waiting for this, like come on, finally, like get here, and the thing I've been waiting for.
Yeah, and then we have this panel right here where he's talking about I guess it supports the thing that I said before. It says, I heard you were around here somewhere, but you've been testing my patience.
Yeah. So I guess he's talking about the Kangaskhan.
Yeah.
And I just gotta say, with the Kangaskhan, and when we get the reveal of it, it looks a lot bigger than it actually is in the anime. It looks like it's like a Godzilla-sized Kangaskhan.
That's true. Especially with them looking up at it, it looks like it's above the tree line.
I think it is above the tree line. It looks like it's above the tree line. It looks like it's possibly like not as big as Godzilla, but maybe like as big as like King Kong was. Type of thing,
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's a.
It's a big Kangaskhan.
And then if you see one of the panels like in the future where Red runs up to it or whatever, we find out it basically just walked through a bush.
maybe they didn't know how
it looks smaller than it looks smaller on that one than it actually does.
We're getting some Fist of the North Star proportions in this Pokemon book.
Right.
But we get this panel where Red's like freaking the fuck out. And he's like, ah! Yeah. And you see Blue, and he's like, I've been waiting for you, Kangaskhan. I've heard you around here somewhere, but you like you said before, you've been testing his patience. And then we get this scene where Charmander attacks Kangaskhan, and Red and Blue's kind of like, oh man, I'm gonna get this data, and put it in my Pokédex kind of thing, and catches Kangaskhan.
Yeah. And we do have the reveal that they both pull out their Pokédexes together.
Yeah, and Blue's like, what, Pokédex? He's like, what? He's like, I like this part where he starts laughing at Red.
Yeah.
And Red's like, what's so funny? And he's like, my grandpa told me he gave somebody a Pokédex, but I never thought it was you dumbass.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, he'll just give anybody a Pokédex.
Yeah, and then Red makes the connection.
Yeah, he's like, what? But Grandpa, wait, Professor Oak's your grandfather?
Yeah.
But it's funny because you really see the arrogance of Blue. And
right.
And he's like, his different thought process between him and Blue, or Red and Blue,
Yeah.
when it comes to this point, yeah. But yeah, we get that whole scene as Charmander is kind of attacking, or did attack.
Yeah,
He
which
attacks again.
he says he uses this move called, I wonder if it's actually a move or not, where he says final blow.
Does he?
If it, yeah, I wonder if it's supposed to be a move, or if he just doesn't say what the ability is.
I don't know what it is, but it looks kind of like a whirlwind of fire almost.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like fire spin or something.
Yeah, but I like this scene right here where you know, red and blue are there, and Kangaskhan is like on fire basically, and I like the way this attack is drawn from Charmander.
Godzilla.
Yeah, but yeah, you want to take this next part with what happens to Blue when he tries to
Yeah,
capture King.
he throws his Pokeball basically through the flames, and Kangaskhan turns around after kind of shaking off the fire and smacks the Pokeball away. And Blue continues his assault of trying to throw Pokeballs at Kangaskhan, and every
Mm-hmm.
time they just keep getting smacked away from him.
Yeah,
Um, and he has Charmander basically lighted on fire again.
Uh-huh.
And then we get this little scene um, where Red's talking about how the Kangaskhan is still strong enough to smack the Pokeballs away and endure the fire and everything, and that there has to be something else going on with how it's wrenching a certain way.
Yeah, and in these panels, like they're still looking up at Kangaskhan, so Kangaskhan is a lot taller than them.
Right.
And we get this scene where like Red's like, he's like, wait, like stop the attacks, and he tries to get Blue to stop, and Blue's like, don't underestimate, or you don't understand, I got to get this Kangaskhan, and he keeps telling Charmander to fight, fight, fight,
Yeah.
And I like this scene. I don't know if it's supposed to be interpreted like this, but I feel like Poliwhirl just kind of got in front of Red, and he's kind of like, get out of my way, Poliwhirl. Or is that Blue saying, get out of my way, Poliwhirl? Like it looked like Poliwhirl just popped up in front of him.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And they're like, get out of my way, Poliwhirl. I don't know if that's Red or Blue saying that.
I think it's Red because I think Blue is saying hey, what are you? Maybe because he threw the Pokeball out and Poliwhirl is in front of him.
Maybe.
And he's just trying to get Poliwhirl to get at Charmander because he's trying to run to Kangaskhan.
Maybe, yeah, I think that might be right. Because we get Poliwhirl shoots shoots Charmander in the back, taking Charmander out.
Friendly. So I saw that and I went, friendly fire.
Friendly fire.
Yeah, or like one of our other podcast episodes, it would be like going red light and then Poliwhirl going green light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like this, and we see Red just dash for Kangaskhan, and and we see Blue look, and he's like, "Where do you think you're going, you little?" Like he kind of cuts off, and you see Red going after Kangaskhan, and he's like, "Are you okay? Is your baby okay?"
Yeah, and he starts shouting.
Yeah,
and then Blue realizes what Red was getting him to stop for and everything.
Yeah, because if you don't know, Kangaskhan is kind of like a kangaroo. It has a baby Kangaskhan in its like pouch, and the baby was hurt. Red assumes or he thinks that the baby Kangaskhan might have got poisoned by a poison Pokemon.
Yeah.
And you see him give the baby Kangaskhan potion to heal up its wounds, and he's like, no wonder you were like trying to protect yourself and not really fighting, because your baby was hurt, And I like the scene. The scene was really, really nice. It was a little touching scene, and like
Yeah,
Red was a little bit more observant than what he really is in our
yeah,
other two chapters that we've gone to.
yeah. Which, um, I like that where he kind of he kind of stands in front of Blue to let the Kangaskhan get away and tells him all that.
Yeah,
Um, and then I really like this part right here that Red actually brings up where he says, basically, come on, Blue, it isn't really winning if your opponent's at a disadvantage.
that is true. And Blue, Blue likes a good challenge.
Right. And
That
then
we know of. Blue likes a good
Blue tells him
challenge.
to Blue tells him to save his slogans.
Yeah, which is funny. And he's like, "Hey, my name's Red. What's yours?" And I like, this is a very Gary moment. Uh,
This is a very Gary moment.
this is a very Gary moment. But Blue is like, my name's Blue. Now shut up. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
And we our it ends. Our chapter ends with he's like, okay, Blue. He's like, Red's like, hey, Blue, I'm not gonna lose to you ever again. I'm not gonna lose to you. I'm gonna win next time we meet.
Yeah, and then Red tells him basically the same thing. I'm gonna win.
Yeah, and we get this new rivalry for Red and Blue. If you played the games or seen the anime,
Right.
Ash is
and like
Red.
yeah, and Gary's Blue.
Yeah,
And like I said, I feel like right there, Professor Oak says my grandson and my new protege.
Yeah.
Which one will be the best trainer?
Because Professor Oak was around, I guess, the whole time. I'm
Had to
guessing
be.
watching, possibly.
Had to be.
I mean, he had to be, because we see Blue walking off, and Red's kind of in the behind him, and we see Professor Oak behind Red, and that's where we like you said, we got grandson and my new protege. So Professor Oak has basically taken Red under his wing to teach him all about Pokemon and stuff like that, And I like this scene. This is a very classic scene right here where we see like Red going one way and Blue going the other way, and it is like it's going to get very competitive.
Yeah, and well, I like how they walk off too.
Yeah,
You do get that very, like you said earlier, about the kiss scene in Naruto. Well, you do get this very like from Blue. You do get the very kind of arrogant walk away that Sasuke would have done with the hands in
yeah,
the pockets, and you get
yeah.
this kind of derpy, forward kind of running
No,
thing like.
He's doing the Vince McMahon power walk. Okay.
So.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed this one just like as much as the last two we read. I enjoyed this one as well.
Yeah, and it seems like they're good because Pokemon gives it to you in chapters that seem like they're bite-sized pieces,
Yeah,
and
and
so
it's the stories are going to connect.
yeah, and they're like 10 pages less than a regular chapter that you would get for per volume of manga.
Yeah,
So
it's like 15 pages a chapter. It seems like
yeah,
if we're counting each page as two,
yeah,
you know. But yeah, no, I love this. I liked the rivalry between Red and Blue. That's one of the things that really a lot of people gravitate towards are the rivalries in Pokemon, especially in the video games.
right,
And Red and Blue's rivalry is still sort of going on till this day. Because
right.
didn't they show up in Sun and Moon recently?
I
I
have no
think
idea.
in the
In the
Sun and Moon
manga,
video game, they show up for and to compete in like a championship thing.
oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, They come back like later on. Like you don't see them for quite some time, and they just recently like came back within the
Oh,
games.
okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, if you play Sun and Moon, I think it is they come back to like the Aloha region, or they go to the Aloha region, and a bunch of other trainers come back from the previous games.
Oh, okay.
But one of the big ones is Red and Blue.
I did not know that.
Yeah, yeah. It was a big thing to see them come back. 'Cause I don't think the last time you see them is in gold and silver in the games, correct? I think.
In the games?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
because red is in gold
Yeah.
at the very very end.
Yeah, which I mean, I like how they in the manga they kind of keep with the thing of like they're around the whole time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And in the games they do they kind of do that as well, sort of.
Yeah.
They're just off on their own journeys, but like, yeah, which will get intertwined with all the other Pokemon. So we'll meet other protagonists and rivals within this series.
Right.
It's just not going to be focused on red and blue, which we will find out later on
Yeah.
when we after we finish red and blue, because red and blue is just the first 3 volumes, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I
Something
think
like
it's
that.
red, blue, and green.
Yeah,
We just hadn't seen green yet.
yeah. No, green's going to come up soon. Which, when we get to green, there's something we need to talk about.
Okay.
Just saying. There's a little bit of a censorship in this manga.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh my goodness.
which we will get to eventually. And
Now I'm gonna think if I know what we're talking about or not.
it's one of the things that people bring up quite a bit, and like I only noticed it because people were wondering if the collector's editions were censored or not
Yeah.
from the original Japanese version, because the original release was censored in certain ways,
Yeah.
and there's one that depicts green in a certain situation, and I'm
Oh,
gonna leave it
okay.
as, I'm gonna leave it at that, because we'll talk about that later. You know, I don't mind censoring, to be exact, but like it's a weird censoring.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's one that everybody brings up.
Oh, okay,
If
okay.
if you like look up like YouTube videos and stuff, like the difference between Japanese and American Pokemon manga, yeah, it's one that always everybody brings up all the time. Yeah,
I never knew that there was anything like that.
yeah, yeah. You can probably find it if you Google it. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
No,
funny.
this chapter was good. I like this chapter. I like that we're getting these bite-sized stories. And
I did
we.
too, and I like how we know what people's Pokemon are right
Yeah,
now. And we do know one, even though Blue hasn't thrown it out yet. We do know that he has a Venomoth. So
yeah,
right now, as far as we know from what we've been told through the story, is that Red has Bulbasaur and Poliwhirl,
hmm,
and um, that Blue has Charmander and Venomoth.
yeah.
So we don't know anything else besides that right now at this point.
Well,
But
if you
we do
get
know that.
there, if you get the collector's editions, you already know which ones they use or they will be using
Yeah, towards the end.
towards the end of the series,
Yeah,
because they show them in pictures at the very
right,
beginning of the book.
right.
Which I'm excited for
So
one. I'm excited for one in particular because I want to know how he gets that Pokemon.
yeah,
There's a Pokemon in here that Red gets, and I'm like, I want to know how he gets that Pokemon.
yeah,
But I don't want to spoil it right now. For
yeah.
anybody who's reading along with us, or is new, you know.
Right. So
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Our next adventure after this one is Wanted Pikachu, Volume or Chapter 4, Adventure 4. And so stay tuned. We both hope that you're enjoying this Gotta Read 'em All Pokemon podcast. And as always, we'll see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Thanks for listening, and make sure to check out our other podcasts that we have on the feed.
Most definitely.
Thanks for listening.